Hi class, Mrs. Sams here, and I'm going to just be giving you a brief review of 17.1 and 17.2, which is about angles. So a couple vocabulary words that are really important. You need to know what a point is, and that's an exact location in space. They are often named, usually with a letter. You can give it any letter, it doesn't matter. We have something that's called a line. A line looks just like it is with a line, but it actually has two arrows on the end, meaning that it goes through these 2 points in both directions, on and on and on forever. A line never stops. Okay, so this is a line. And I can actually call this line, give it a name, I can call it BC, or I can call it CB. It doesn't matter the order of the letters. Okay? There's also something called a line segment. A segment means it's part of a line segment. And it actually has 2 end points, okay? So it's actually, those endpoints means it stops. It does not go on and on like a line. I can give these any letters. So I'm going to use my initials, J and S, and I can call this line JS, or I can call this line line segment. I can call it JS or SJ. When looking at lines and line segments, the real line that I can think of is like the number line that goes on and on and on for both sides, positive, negative numbers for infinity. When we're thinking of lines that we see in our everyday life, like the lines on this piece of paper, they're actually line segments. But we usually call a lot of our line segments lines. So, if you want, at your house, you can actually make some lines and line segments and angles with using straws and either twist ties. I use pipe cleaners when I'm in the classroom. Here at home, I didn't have any, so I actually used a twisted paper clip. This would be considered a line because it has the arrows on both ends. If I took these out, I would then have line segments. So I could go around the house and look for line segments. I can actually, something that's not in your book, but if you do have a line segment that has just one arrow, that would be called a ray. So you can actually take your line segments and join them in the corner here with a bent paper clip. These two line segments form what we call an angle. There's 3 types of angles. This is a right angle. A right angle is sometimes called a square angle because you can see it kind of makes a square or an L. If you have something that is smaller than a right angle, it is called an acute angle, A-C-U-T-E. If you think of puppies and if you think of kittens, you know how cute they are. So you can think of small angles as being cute, called acute. So here's acute, here's a right angle. Anything past a right angle that looks larger is called an obtuse angle. So you can see if you can find some of these around your house. One thing that you can do is you can also take this is just a sticky note. You can go around your house. If you can line up a sticky note in the corner exactly perfect, that means that that is a right angle. Right angles don't always have to be shaped like the L that we write in printing. You might find one upside down, backwards, so on. Let me tell you a little bit about naming an angle. When you have 2 line segments that meet at a point, this is an angle. This point always has to be the middle letter. So I can actually call this angle L, or I can call it angle JLS. Notice the L is in the middle, or I can call this angle SLJ, as long as that L is in the middle. If you look over at this shape, I have an upside down pentagon. Pentagon is five sides and 5 angles. When I am naming this, it doesn't matter what letter you start on, but you must go clockwise. So I can call this shape BADEF. So I went this way. I can start at E, and I can call it EFBAD. You just never want to call it something like EAFDB. You can't do that. You must go in a clockwise direction. And just so you know, all of these in here are angles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a pentagon has 5 angles along with its 5 sides.